Join us for a thought-provoking talk that will challenge your perspective and ignite your curiosity. Engage with experts, share your opinions, and be part of the conversation that matters. Mainland 98.3 FM, your voice, your station.
Fantastic conversations.
Great to see you again. It's good weather. You want to agree with that?
Yeah, I love weather. Trending music.
I live the life that I love. I love the life that I live. Tomorrow.
Traffic updates.
Ojaoba and Charity intersections is good. There's no cause for alarm.
Sports.
This is the Mainland Business Cafe, your sure guide to the world of business.
A very pleasant morning. This is the Mainland Business Cafe on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. My name is ᴑᴜᴜ. Of course, I am your host for this morning's edition. Our time check is just 11:18 a.m. here in the city of Lagos. So it's safe to say happy new week and happy new month. Of course, it is it's the start of a brand new. Now, over the weekend, the turmoil of the United States President Donald Trump's global trade tariff has affected the stock market domestically and internationally. United Kingdom and Asian markets inclusive. Of course, the Nigerian naira was not left out as the currency dealers reported a sharp fall, or what you would call a major decline or depreciation of our currency. So from the desk of our Tunde, and this morning's discourse is centered on the relevance of investment and asset management, seeing that the frontiers of the business landscape is being threatened by Trump's trade tariff brouhaha. Of course, we shall look at the end of weekday trading summary on the NGX for last Friday, 4th April 2025, and updates on the FX market as well as the international business scene. So I encourage every listener and every investor to stay tuned. Please do not forget to engage us on social media by following us on Facebook and Instagram at Mainland. We'll take a quick break and come up with the first segment of the program. Please stay tuned.
This is the Mainland Business Cafe, your sure guide to the world of business.
You're very much welcome back. 20 minutes gone past the hour of 11 a.m. It is still the Mainland Business Cafe on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos, and we're most definitely your sure guide to the world of business. And just as we established, we have a very brief interview with Oreoluwa Odetunde, and she happens to be the head research at Ancoria Management Asset Management. Yes. Thank you for joining us this morning, Oreoluwa. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right, good to have you in the studio.
How
was your weekend?
Not bad. How was yours?
Oh, very well. Thank you very much. And of course, we do this so that we keep every listener informed and up to date concerning happenings in every sector of the economy, political, business, investment, and asset management, because of what is going on at a global scale. The fact that an influential figure such as the United States, Donald Trump to be more specific, sneezes and everybody catches a commodities, major services at a global scale. And domestically speaking, from most of our correspondents, it was reported that it's affected the stock markets, UK, Asia, Europe, from a point of origin now. So what would we describe as asset management or
you said investments as well. So I think that the two concepts are actually put funds together and probably investing in things like stocks, probably investing in things like bonds. And that's where you have investment vehicles like, mutual funds. That's where you're just speaking about an activity you're doing to earn you a particular return. But when you're speaking about asset management, you're speaking about, an investment life cycle. It's a lot more broader. So you're starting off by, constructing a portfolio, for instance. You're moving from construction, allocating your funds, whether to stocks, to bonds, and all that as well. And you're also seeing, so where can I put my investment? So it's been the fixed income market. That's why yields in the fixed income market have been going downwards. Of uncertainty, you see during periods of uncertainty, people run towards the fixed income market. So when you're investment managers that are managing your funds and are able
this
to
ebb and flow,
yes,
it has its ups and downs. Fantastic. So it's not static. It's very, very fluid and very dynamic. Well, thank you so much. That was intelligently put together by Oreoluwa, who happens to be the head and investment or vice versa. Okay, so thank you so much, because, how can we incorporate this in school? You have 2,000 naira. So how can we incorporate this in schools? Because it is very benem at when they are more advanced in age. I don't want to say old age anyway. Anyway, so how can we incorporate this in our schools?
Yeah, I'll take you up on that, because I think it's very important, like you said, to really start early. I think when you're speaking about investment, when you're speaking about returns, it's important you look at that concept of come to enter the market.
Okay.
But it's about staying in the market, sometimes staying invested.
Okay.
Despite, sometimes this significant volatility that you tend to see.
Yes.
So in situations where your curriculum start to add, topics on personal finance, investments, and things that curriculum tends to be a bit more the younger generation, funds to invest in the stock market or the fixed income market, or start to understand the concept of these instruments. They start to understand the relationship between the asset classes, because sometimes there's an inverse relationship where in their late 20s or early 30s you see that the returns are
so much. I mean, this is actually very, very good to hear, because I believe a couple of other categories, and I was taught business studies, ledger accountant, with technology amplifying another form of investment. But let's look at investment itself now. Now, real estate, is it
so I'd say that there's no one things like your risk appetite, for instance, which is really important.
Okay.
Some people have very low funds.
All right.
Yes, those are low risk. If you want to now take a look at the how long you think you want to tease more appropriate from things like those instances as well. So you like times as well, but you have to be careful.
All right. And the UK.
I mean, the market had lost, consecutive. The market hasn't yet opened officially, but there's future trading that well. They are also declaring significant losses. So if you are said on Friday you want to take some positions into the market.
Like that. It is still the Mainland Business Cafe on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos, YouTube platforms respectively at Mainland 98.3 Korea Asset Management. All right, so you can take at 8.3 FM once again. Of course, if you want to ask questions, of course, the phone line SMS is that number. There's the option of WhatsApp calls and WhatsApp messages 0913. I want to ask now, how can some people have purchased stocks or claim their dividends or their bonus? Can we reach out to you, or
that company that you bought those stocks
from? What about what about if those stocks were put?
There's a global search that is being conducted by your broker, the investments that is being mapped to you much more seamlessly for you.
Okay. All right. Fantastic actions as regards what is going on currently in the global business landscape, especially with UK, Asia, and major parts of Europe. Now, I want to ask this question: investment or asset management or investment in today's world and are prone to quick and easy pay or easy money, like Ponzi scheme mentality or mindset.
And online, I would just say is improving financial literacy. Very management towards investments is people have been looking for so we've seen the rise of social media and how that has affected investors. Yes. So a partner or a connection or something post this very mad return he made on this particular cryptocurrency or this stock market. Yes. Like to multiply his return. So I could also make that kind of returns, but very difficult. So you also want to be very sure, like you don't want to, have that bandwagonism effect. Exactly.
Like you said, it's high risk, especially in the stock market, as opposed to like.
I think that I would also mention would be the economic uncertainty and very high inflation. Inflation has averaged around 30%, but we know effective to survive in that economy. So they'll look for these kind of opportunities. So their risk exposure is very high, especially when they're thinking about investments as well. Market, all of those.
But how true is this? Because sometimes social person has made it.
No, I mean sometimes those past investments has probably moved. So you'd see that a lot of times you have, a growth progression. There are trends. All these things. You can vet all of these things. You don't have to happen, but there's a lot of factors being considered.
Well, research at Korea Asset Management, and we're talking about this morning the relevance Mainland Business Cafe. I just want to ask now, how can we financial status or their financial capability now? So, do you think saving in the bank now, or maybe you already know or maybe you're thinking that maybe I already know the answer to the question. From my pattern, I stand to be corrected. I would think that maybe when they save or open a savings account and they save over time, that it will definitely appreciate.
Nigeria is also, let me say, structurally high.
Yes,
Such as
exactly.
In bringing down inflation, but you'd see that the underlying inflation, when you look at month-on-month inflation, when you look at core inflation,
exactly.
a lot of times when central bank really is high in Nigeria, so you can't be thinking of investing, putting your money in the savings account. It doesn't work. If you look at I said you're having inflation at above 30%, so you'd see that in terms of you're making negative real return in mutual funds, particularly money market mutual funds. We've seen that money market mutual funds have been delivering returns of over 20%, has been raising significantly. That has pressured yields upwards. In some of these instruments that has been issued by the government, they know that they need to raise the interest rates, the yield that they said. And in terms of the minimum entry levels, you could enter with as low as 5,000
okay.
management.
Wow.
And you could start to where yields are somewhat coming down in the market. So you want to start looking. So you want to start
money market. Okay.
Yes, but in terms of return, the return can be more. Yields go upwards. You see that prices of things like bonds start to come down. But like I said, yields have somewhat been coming down. So to investors, especially if you look at the Q1, for investors, investing in the equity mutual fund. So you want to start real estate. And I think one big thing we've definitely seen is a situation where there's been a lot of more interest in things like real assets, and that's why when I mean real estate, I think meaning that gold has gone over 40%. Compare that to where inflation is, and it's like a hedge for inflation. So I was looking at year-to-date return, for instance. So commodities, real assets have been one somewhat sort of an issue. So now we've seen that the US dollar has started. We've seen safe haven asset for a lot of investors. They've been flocking into gold. They've been flocking into commodities and all of those. The trade options, the trade on leverage, and all those. They can take a short position. For
your time, Oreluwa Odetunde, who happens to be the head research at Ancoria Asset Man. The time was quite short, and I know you have some other engagements.
So you could call out office address, and I think I can also of our subsidiaries at Elephant House in Lagos Island as well. Some at Foresight House as well. So and our emails as well. I would also pass that across.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your time. This is the main state.